Are you surprised this happened?
He also heard me face to face telling him I don't believe him, not for 1 second. And certainly that ended up being the case because this is what it is. This is a disaster for Jerry Jones. This is a bad, bad situation. And I think this is something that's going to taint whatever legacy he hoped to have because this is not a football decision. He can slice it any way he wants to. Micah Parsons is a superstar caliber player in the National Football League. You traded him for 2 late first-round picks. That's late. The Green Bay Packers haven't had a top 10 pick since 2009. They're usually in contention. This is going to be a low first-round pick. You made them younger. You made them better defensively, okay? So you take those things into consideration, and they're within the NFC conference. You know what? If you're going to trade Micah Parsons, trade him out of the conference, or trade him to somebody like New Orleans or somebody like that. You don't trade him to a Green Bay Packers team, who, by the way, is the last team to whip your ass in the playoffs. When you win the playoffs, the people that bust your tail was the Green Bay Packers. And so the reason why this is kind of something, Cam and D.O., that's going to taint Jerry Jones is because in the end, we're all looking at it and we know this is not purely a football decision. 2 first-round picks and Kenny Clark, a defensive tackle who had a down year last year, does not equate to a superstar at age 26 that is Micah Parsons. By the way, Clark is 3 years older. It doesn't equate to that. If you had made this deal in March and opened the floodgates to everybody, then there's no question that you would have had a better deal offered to you than the deal that you just agreed to. Last year with CeeDee Lamb, when you waited till August to sign him, you cost yourself like $64 million. $64 million in space that you could have utilized to get additional talent on the squad. So you waiting and waiting and waiting, that's not new to us. That's bad, but it's not new to us. What's new to us is that this was clearly not for football reasons. This was because you thought you had a handshake agreement with a young man that was basically pleading with you, talk to my representation. And you ignored him. And by the way, it's the same agent you're going to have to deal with when it comes to George Pickens if you want to re-sign him, assuming he plays lights out and he's somebody you want to keep on your roster because he's got the same agent as Micah Parsons. All of these things that you take into consideration for Jerry Jones to make this move, I mean, for me personally, it doesn't bother me. This is going to give me more stuff to laugh about. But on this particular morning, I don't like to see Jerry put himself in this kind of position. It looks very, very bad. This is not a good day for the Dallas Cowboys.
All right, the Green Bay Packers give up 2 firsts and Kenny Clark. The Green Bay Packers view themselves as a Super Bowl team, and they're probably right. They have the coach, the running game. They just couldn't get a consistent pass rush. Micah Parsons provides that. Micah and the Cowboys and Jerry got very personal. I think he's a great fit in Green Bay. And I also like what Dallas did. I would have moved him pre-draft. Dallas gets 2 first-round picks. They get Kenny Clark, he's older, but he's a really good interior defender. But Dallas is not a Super Bowl team. I've told you I think they're 4th place in their division. I think they'll have a top 8 pick. Now maybe worse. The defense is bad with Micah Parsons. Without him, guaranteed to be atrocious. Dallas is acknowledging we're not a Super Bowl team. It's rebuild time. I would have done it pre-draft, but it wasn't a great draft anyway. Maybe in their eyes, they wanted more draft picks for next year's draft, which has minimum 5 first-round quarterbacks, maybe up to 7. Love it for Green Bay, a much better franchise right now. Dallas is saying, we're not a Super Bowl team. We need to rebuild. I like the move. And just think about it this way. Let's say Dallas ends up with an 8th draft pick. They could use up to 3 first-round picks to move up to get maybe not Arch Manning, maybe not the number 1 quarterback, maybe not Drew Aller if he's the number 1 quarterback, but you probably get the 2nd best quarterback in a strong quarterback draft class. Take a deep breath. You're not a Super Bowl team. Long term, it's a good play for Dallas.
In Dallas, where the star burns brightest, loyalty and legacy crash headfirst into ego and money. Jerry Jones, the oil tycoon turned football kingpin, pulled the trigger on a move that rocked the NFL. He didn't just shuffle the deck. He didn't just make a trade. He made a statement. Dak Prescott, not Micah Parsons, is the man he's staking the Cowboys' future on. Parsons wasn't just a defender. He was the heartbeat of Dallas, a generational pass rusher quarterbacks feared like death itself. His motor never quit, his numbers told the story, and fans believed he'd anchor the defense for the next decade. But whispers of money fights turned into shouting matches. Negotiations broke. The bonds snapped. And Jerry, the eternal gambler, shoved his chips all in.
Yeah. Talk
What
to
the
me.
Cowboys thinking of?
Hold on. Take your time.
You want me to start it off?
Hey, well, I can start it off because listen, I'm not. You will probably get a little bit more in depth
Go
than I
ahead.
will, but I would just this chat. Y'all stay with me real quick. This is all ego. This is all ego and pride on Jerry's hands. When he did the deal and he got in front of the camera, he did some, as always, that he shouldn't have done. One of the first things he said is this was a good trade, and two, we need to be able to stop the run. Now, you're bringing in Kenny Clark, and once again, you put the pressure on Kenny Clark and your defense and the coaching staff to be able to stop the run. Because who you play week one, huh? Who they
We
playing?
go to Philly.
They going to Philly. And what does Philly do extremely well outside of throwing the ball?
Run the football.
Now you done put your team in a blender, doing the same thing you always doing, is doing all that talking before it's even time to play, and you ain't been in Nan meeting room, you ain't been on Nan field. Oh, letting one of the greatest young superstars of all time go, and you feel your team has gotten better.
Yeah,
How does that make
that's cliche
How does-
talk, Ocho. Oh, we got better. Really? So if you felt that way, why were you trying to sign him? If you thought you could get better by trading Micah Parsons, why did you even offer him $200 million? Now, all this time, the last four years they were getting run on, I never heard Jerry say a word about running on. Now, I don't know about y'all, but the thing is, you want guys to go hunt the quarterback because the Kansas City Chiefs stopped the run. What did the Eagles do? They got after my homeboy.
Yeah.
Because that's the guy, that's the head of the snake, is your quarterback.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Al Davis coined the phrase, the quarterback must go down, and he must go down hard. And it needs to happen early in the game.
And often.
See, Jerry, again, if you watch the documentary, America's Team, the gambler and I think the Dallas Cowboys, it was his ego. That's what caused him and Jerry to go. So now he done. Well, we had a handshake deal. What?
Can't do
First
that,
of all,
man.
You cannot, if a player has representation, the owner or the general manager can negotiate a deal with the player. You must talk to his agent. Jerry knows that. Micah probably thought, I'm shaking hands, Ocho. Hey, man, Jerry, good to see you. Jerry said, well, you shook my hand. We got a deal. It's been reported that Michael said, okay, Jerry, call my agent. Mm-hmm. Then, we do the deal. I've done plenty of these deals. Well, you shouldn't have. The NFL should have punished you. The NFLPA, he told on himself, I've done plenty of these.
In Dallas, where the star burns brightest, loyalty and legacy crash headfirst into ego and money. Jerry Jones, the oil tycoon turned football kingpin, pulled the trigger on a move that rocked the NFL. He didn't just shuffle the deck. He didn't just make a trade. He made a statement. Dak Prescott, not Micah Parsons, is the man he's staking the Cowboys' future on. Parsons wasn't just a defender. He was the heartbeat of Dallas, a generational pass rusher quarterbacks feared like death itself. His motor never quit, his numbers told the story, and fans believed he'd anchor the defense for the next decade. But whispers of money fights turned into shouting matches. Negotiations broke. The bonds snapped. And Jerry, the eternal gambler, shoved his chips all in.
Not trade Hall of Fame players in their primes. Right now, the Cowboys are not a good organization. This will go down as one of the worst trades in the history of their football team and their organization. They traded away a future Hall of Famer for what likely will be the 28th to the 32nd pick in the first round.
Right.
The Packers are going to be good as long as Jordan Love is healthy. You got two picks that are basically early second-round picks, and depending on if the draft is loaded with talent or not, could be very invaluable to that football team. I think the shine for the Cowboys is gone because of this. When I grew up, no one left the Dallas Cowboys. Nobody. The fact that this was Micah initiating, I don't want to be here anymore. The allure of the star feels gone. They got fleeced. This is not a trade that you can sit here and go, well, they're going to use those picks to go get Arch Manning. Arch Manning ain't going to be there at 30 when you guys are picking in 2 years. So
right.
I look at this and go, from a business perspective, Jerry Jones 100% lost this negotiation. From a football perspective, Jerry Jones and the Cowboys 100% lost this negotiation. This is one of the, as far as we won or lost, worst days in the Cowboys since Jerry Jones has owned them. And this is like remember after the Green Bay Packer debacle in the playoffs?
Yeah.
He could not have handled from that moment to this moment worse.
Micah Parsons, gone. Shipped to Green Bay for 2 first-round picks and Kenny Clark. On paper, it's an asset swap. To Cowboys Nation, it's a gut punch. Then Jerry spoke. We have the highest paid player in the NFL at quarterback. We made that commitment last year and we're proud we made it. It had everything to do with this decision. That wasn't a slip. That was Jerry doubling down on Dak Prescott. The QB critics say always crumbles when the lights shine brightest. Jones didn't hint Dak influenced the choice. He flat out said it. Dak was the reason. The message? Dallas is done building around Parsons. The franchise is all in on Dak.